Pull up, grab the fuel nozzle, and get ready to fuel up on trends and strategies to grow your travel center business in this episode of The Truck Stops Here, brought to you by NATSO. Now, here are your hosts, Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.
Welcome to this episode of The Truck Stops Here. I'm Amy Toner, and today I have a special guest, NATSO's Darren Schulte. Today we're going to tackle fuel buying.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. So coming to us via the phone, we have Mr. Don Quinn. Don, can you introduce yourself?
Yep, Don Quinn with NATSO Services. Glad to be on this call.
Can you tell us a little bit about your history in the industry?
Sure. It spans a little more than 30 years. I started off actually driving as a truck driver from coast to coast, and I went to work for a great company called Staff Brothers Travel Centers back in the day when they offered full service out on the fuel islands, fueling trucks part-time, and from there held about every position within the company, and ended my career as president, on a board, a stockholder, et cetera. So that's kind of my history in the industry.
Awesome. So like I said, we're going to talk about fuel buying. I know you and Darren get a lot of questions on this. Let's dive in. What are some basics for folks building new stores when it comes to fuel buying?
Well, let me start by saying that if you don't have any experience in that area, if you will, you should probably strongly consider hiring someone that does. There's so many different decisions that can have a huge impact on your bottom line. It costs you tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars if you do it wrong. So NATSO is a great resource for that, and so that's my plug there. But some of the things that I might start by looking at branded gas, volume. What kind of volume are you going to do? You might start with a site analysis so you get some deep insight as to what your opportunities are as you sit down and negotiate with either a wholesaler or the supplier, refiner themselves. Probably two of the critical things is that volume, and determining what that is a great place to start. And we might talk a little bit about the brand, if you will, branded gas versus unbranded gas. What are the opportunities or what are the values, if you will, that branded gas brings to you? First one would be the image, of course. As everybody knows, the Shell Pectin or the Phillips 66 logo, ExxonMobil, et cetera. So that there's a lot of value with that image. With a branded fuel supply agreement, they typically provide upfront monies for image, signage. But unfortunately, as I learned at a young age with the older brothers and sisters, there's no Santa Claus, right?
Right.
And you're going to pay that money back over time. So even though it looks enticing, you're going to pay for it. They also bring some technology that is difficult for an independent or small group of operators to accomplish themselves. You think of what Exxon has with their Speed Pass, Phillips 66 has with their Kickbacks Rewards program. So they bring a lot of opportunity that is typically very hard for an independent to do on their own. Probably the biggest benefit with a branded contract offering is the potential relationship with your wholesaler. Typically, smaller operators don't have the opportunity to deal directly with the refiner. So it's a great opportunity for you to forge a partnership with a wholesaler that represents that brand. And with that, they can bring a lot of knowledge that they have learned over the years of what other successful operators are doing and bring that to your attention. So it's probably one of the, an unsung opportunity that a lot of people don't put a value on, but there's certainly a great opportunity there. As you do the branded offering, the contracts are typically for 10 years. And as we said, with some upfront monies to help you brand your canopy, your dispensers, maybe price signs, et cetera. And they make those offers, upfront monies, based on your volume again. So knowing what your volume is, they're going to have you commit to that volume over a long period of time. And some brands will hold you to that volume. So it's very important that you make sure that you don't overstate that volume to try and get more money up front, because a lot of them have clawbacks within their agreements. So you need to be very careful of that. The other element of that a lot of people don't understand is that those upfront monies amortize over the last 5 or 6 years of a 10-year agreement. So as you enter into those agreements, they're long-term, very long-term, 10 years, you're going to be buying your gas from that supplier. And so you need to have a very, very high comfort level with that supplier and the volumes and all the terms of that contract. So where the basic kind of fuel buying starts on a branded side.
Hey, Don, this is Darren. Just a real quick question. You mentioned, is it called a drawback or a clawback?
Clawback. In other words, Darren, if say I agree to buy 100,000 gallons of gas from this wholesaler under a particular brand, and I fall short. So some brands will want that additional volume. They may extend the terms of the agreement until you fulfill that volume, or there may be some clawback provisions within your agreement that allows them to come and collect lost profits, if you will.
Is it, if I happen to really open a super robust travel center and it ends up exceeding any of anyone's expectations, are there benefits to having that contract with a fuel supplier? Do I get any additional dollars when I have these contracts if I overexceed my gallons? Are there ways to build that also into the contract?
That's a great question, Darren, and it depends on the particular supplier. All of them treat that differently. Some of them limit the excess, if you will, maybe 20% plus or minus. Other ones, the agreement is for as much volume as you can possibly sell through the site. So each one is different, and it just illustrates the importance, if you will, of understanding those details of the agreement. It's a great question.
Okay, what about your recommendations on the gas side?
Sure. We just spoke about the branded gas, and we should take a minute to talk about the unbranded gas. And it is really, I look at it as an opportunity to create your own brand. If you look at the people in the industry that are really growing and immensely successful today, they're typically unbranded locations. I might mention a few being, Quick Trip with a Q, Quick Trip with a K, Racetrack, Thornton's, Casey's, Come and Go. They're expanding heavily, and they all are unbranded on their gas lane. So what are those opportunities? And again, one is to create your brand. I think that it's a very strong opportunity. It's not like years ago, where my parents carried a Texaco credit card and they tried to buy all Texaco gas. Today's consumers are not as brand conscientious, if you will, but really driven by price more so than anything else. In fact, NATSO does a survey every year, and they report that approximately 70% of the fueling customers base their fuel purchase decision based on price. So it's very strong, and if you want to get the low price, if you will, it's unbranded because the branded gas is certainly going to cost you more. What is that differential? It's something that you need to sit down and understand exactly what that unbranded cost opportunity is to you, and it comes into play should an unbranded person open up next to you and have a distinct advantage. If you're branded, it can literally mean the difference between survival and capitulating and giving them a lower price, and consequently they take some of your volume. So that is probably the biggest advantage of being unbranded. There are some credit card processing opportunities that you can probably align yourself, such as NATSO's program with First Data Corporation to process your credit cards at a great rate and save yourself some money there. So those are probably the two biggest opportunities, is the price and the opportunity to create your brand. And then obviously it gives you flexibility with point of sales, credit card processing, all those other things.
So Don, when you talked about unbranded gas and branded gas, Do you see a lot of examples of branded diesel out there by chance?
That's a great question, and there's really a few opportunities out there, and we're seeing more of it. And of course, NATSO's Chairman's Circle member, ExxonMobil, has come up with a opportunity with their new Synergy Diesel Efficient program. And they're actually offering monies to brand your canopy, brand your dispensers, and really enhance your diesel canopy and make it look, well, obviously with their brand, it looks beautiful. And they're offering some great incentives with their diesel efficient product, which actually improves mileage by 2% and reduces the DEF burn and has some other positive qualities about it. And so they are incentivizing people right now through upfront monies and cents off over the term of the contract, et cetera, to entice people to look at that opportunity. And again, that's an offering, if you will, that NATSO can help you evaluate that offering compared to an unbranded offering, if you will. And they just recently, I thought this was really significant and shows their commitment to our industry, recently approved B11 to be blended with the Synergy Efficient Diesel Fuel, which previously was only a B5. So that's a real game changer for people that are blending bio. The other branding opportunity, of course, TA is out there with their TA Express opportunity, and that may be an option for some people. And Pipeline J still has their dealer program, which could be an opportunity for some people too. So those are the things, Darren, that I'm seeing on the branding side, if you will, for the diesel canopy. But unbranded is really the norm in the industry. If you look at, Pipeline J, Loves, TA, Petro, they're all unbranded on the diesel, and it's just simply a price. And then by doing that, it also gives them opportunity in the bio arena, right? So, talk a minute about the bio, and if you happen to be marketing in, say, Iowa, Illinois, Texas, California, and I think there's another state or two, there are some state incentives that it's a must that you have to be blending bio in order to be competitive, and that's if you operate in those states. Now, there are some other opportunities with blending bio, even if you're out of those states. And those, of course, are through the Blender's Tax Credit and the RINs, Renewable Identification Numbers. And NATSO has the intelligence, if you will, to help you go through and evaluate that opportunity through the Alt Fuels Council, which can help you identify where those opportunities are and economically, what does that do for your bottom line? So bio is something that you definitely want to take a look at, and depending on the Blender's Tax Credit, which is a longer term incentive if and when that is in effect, but the RINs are constant, if you will. And so those values are always there, and you need to evaluate what those are for your operation.
So, Don, I would say as we wrap this up, if someone that's completely new to industry came to you, and hired NATSO services to help them get a ground up travel center up and going, and their question to you was, what should we do with the fuel, both gas and diesel? What would be, again, it's your opinion, but what would be your opinion to a member who would ask that, what direction they should go with a brand new startup ground up location?
That is not an easy answer. That's a great question, Darren. Not an easy answer. It would. My recommendation would be based upon looking at the site, looking at your competition. If you're going to open up next to, say, a Quick Trip or a racetrack or someone like that, you know that price is going to be become an issue. And so I would probably lean more towards a unbranded opportunity, just because you're going to have to compete with price to try and get some volume. If you're in an area where there's not that type of competition, then a branded offering might make more sense for you. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of an unbranded guy at heart, so that doesn't mean that it's right for everybody. Really site specific, but likely unbranded would be my recommendation.
Gotcha. And I love the answer, Don, because it just proves to the point there isn't a magic bullet out there. And looking into those specifics is one of the most important things you can do. So very well said.
Thank you.
All right, Don, you ready for our fast fill questions?
Who's Phil?
Okay. What is your go-to on-the-road snack?
Bananas.
Banana, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're stuck at a truck stop in a snowstorm, how would you pass the time?
Oh, probably at the coffee counter, talking to other drivers, other people.
That's a good one. All right, do you prefer to ride or drive? Passenger or
Drive.
driver. Okay. All right, how do you take your truck stop coffee?
How do I get my truck stop coffee, or how do I drink it?
Yes.
Oh, cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar. Okay, and this is the last one. It's controversial. Truck stop, travel center, or travel plaza?
Travel center.
Travel center. All right. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. I know we have a lot of people looking for your fuel buying advice. How could they get a hold of you?
You can reach me at dquinn@natso.com or by calling the NATSO office, or reach me at my phone number, area code 402-598-6961. Just about any time with Derek.
Okay, awesome. And people can visit travelcenterprofitdrivers.com to learn more about both of your offerings and to learn more about the business. Thanks everyone for listening. To learn more about NATSO, go to natso.com. And of course, to get all the episodes of the Truck Stops Here, go to the truckstopshere.show. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Don.
The Truck Stops Here was brought to you by NATSO, the association representing truck stops and travel centers. Visit natso.com for more information. The Truck Stops Here is produced by NATSO in collaboration with Human Factor. Producers are Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.